Okay, we're going to see if this thing actually works right, because I am currently uploading a video that has 44 minutes, and I'm going to try to record a video and at the same time. And I've never tried that before, and I don't know how well it's going to work. I'm really just doing a double video tonight because after I recorded that video, I realized, oh, you know what? That wasn't the video I was planning on recording. I was planning on helping my mom with hitting bases. So we're not picking an overly large base right now, because what we're really trying to do is I'm going to give you the rundown of how I approach base hitting. Okay. So the very first thing I do is a base scout. I come in from the dead north of a base almost every single time because it hides my fleet the best. I'm going to dread it's a little harder, but pretty much anything else you can pretty much bury it underneath the base. I immediately will turn the ship around because I'm not looking to hit the base. I'm looking to look at the base. I'm looking to scout it. And a lot of times I have that very fast battle barge I'll use. So scroll down and see what we're looking at. Oh my god, this is a crappy base. So, even then, we're still not initially here to hit it. We're here to look. So what are we looking at? Well, one thing we're looking at is we want to understand where are all the defend fleet. So there's a ship here that doesn't appear to be moving, which doesn't make no sense in the world. These two actually are moving. This one is trying to turn. It might move. What I want to know, what moves. So I want to see if this guy moves. Does he move? Kind of hard to tell. He might move. Not really. So all of these guys have like a little movement. So what I want to do is when I first come into base, I want to see which moves. Sometimes you're going to come into the base and the ships move a lot. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to wait and see, are they going to move outside of the channel? If they're going to move outside of the channel, fight the ships individually of the base. Don't treat it as one unit. Treat it as a fleet battle, and then you treat it as a base battle. Because fleets don't count towards the 25%, and that's when your first bubble hits, as that 25%. So I'm always scouting initially up here. So then what I will do is I will engage any fleets that move around. And you know, sometimes maybe they'll come out this side, maybe they'll come out this side. Look at that. Oh, see, here we go. Here's a sub. I didn't catch that guy. All right, let's actually move my guys back up here, because let's go ahead and deal with him. Why not? He's right there. He's gonna be around here, but next time he shows up. Actually, let me just make sure Oh, and Nick, hey, look at that. You're on the video. All right. He was like, "You need to do a video." I was like, "Yeah, just upload. I'm uploading one right now." And I actually asked him, "Well, what do you mean do it about?" And he was like, "Well, talk about the raid. Talk about blah 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 blah." And I was like, "Oh, I did that. It'll be up in a little while." Actually, because that's coming all the way over here, and that thing might actually make it to me. Because what I usually like to do is I like to, I want to find out if they're going to stop, because the range is not unlimited. It doesn't cover this entire square of those circles. There is a stopping point to most ships, right? It might be on the opposite side that you're on, but there is a stopping point. Oh, there it is, right there. There's the stopping point. And generally, if you can catch ships at their stopping point, they're really easy to kill, which is why I usually say don't let your ships leave the base. Protect at least 4 of your ships. If you want one to chase stuff down, fine, have one chase it down, but protect at least four of your ships. ran out of my drink, so I might start coughing. So let's see if we can kill this thing. Doo! Probably the very first mortar hit it. Okay, the next thing that we want to do, step 2 really, is figure out generally, and this is, they don't have DU4 except for a couple of turrets, so I'm not going to really prep this base, but generally what you want to do is you want to figure out your 25% mark. If you want to prep the base, what are you going to hit for that 25%? You want to hit the things that will hurt you going into your final push. Okay, so it's things like Howies, it's things like Cerberus, it's things like Flak or Bombard, depending on what type of guns you're using. It's those things that are near the front that are gonna cause you to slow down, to not be effective. That's why I like to hit any fleets that move first, because certain ships might be the thing that you want to prep first. And prepping ships first is always preferable because it does not count towards your percentage, the percentage of the base damage. So we're going to come in slightly, not quite east, slightly north of east. Hello. He has no idea he's going to be famous. Mr. Key Dog. Famous for the 100 people that see this video. So you're looking at defend fleets, you're looking at Howie, Cerberus, Bombard, Flak. It depends on what your ship is, depends on which ones you really care about. And whatever is most effective to reach that 25%. And now here's the thing, and you've seen me on enough videos, you know that I suck at knowing where my 25% mark is. You gotta find it on your, I guess he's online, you gotta find it on your thing where the 25% mark really is. Let's see if he's online. Man, that's gonna be a hard thing to avoid. I'll try to. If you're going for the 25% mark, see right now I'm aiming for this Howie, because honestly the three things on this base that are going to slow me down are the Howie, the Cerberus, and that one. All right. Missiles are really not going to slow me down, especially when they're not even the high level turrets. I'm going to shoot this and it's going to kill all of these around it and splash. Actually that's DU4, but can't tell if that one is or not. Okay, so we're going to come down here. I'm going to take a couple pot shots from the missiles, but they're, in all reality, they're not going to do a lot of damage. I'm not saying he is a better option. Dreadnought X versus a 41 is really not a battle. See, I aimed at that one and I cleared out half of his turrets in one fell swoop, right? So look at that. That's just, oh, he had another sub. I didn't even see that one there. Now what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to try to hit his base and not hit his dock. And what it means is I got to keep my mortars busy with something. Oh shoot. Okay, well that was not my intention, but it really didn't give me a lot of option. Other resources. I will avoid any research. Okay, I'll avoid all that crap. We'll pick up some research and we'll pick up some res, and that's about it. So for your main attack, you want to clear away as much of the damaging things as possible. You want to clear away any Howie that you can. You want to clear away any Cerberus that you can. If you're a siege missiles fleet, you want to clear away any Flak that you can. And then on your main run, and this is me picking a lower level base really didn't really help with this, but on your main run you want to pick what you're going to use your rocket on. If you have a pinch or a large bunker buster, those are pretty much the two things I would kind of say, hey, go look at. Let me just clear this. Okay, we'll just get out of here. Those are basically the two things you would let me just send this guy home. Yeah. Okay, your rocket. You're either going to have a pinch or you're going to have a large bunker buster. I would generally probably recommend a large bunker buster until you get used to rockets. Pinches are nice, but pinches are a little bit more challenging to strategize. Large bunker busters are easy. It's pick a turret and make it go away. The circle target range of a large bunker buster is slightly smaller than the circle of the base of a turret. Lay it on top of it and drop your bunker buster. Center your circle of your bunker buster over the turret and drop it. As long as he doesn't have the explosive armor special, I think the highest level, I don't know if the second highest level actually prevents a large bunker buster. If he doesn't have that, then it's going to kill the turret. Let me give you an example. If your siege missile, a good rocketed target will be the flak that's the furthest away. Okay, that's the hardest to get to because it's probably going to be the thing that's going to be the pain in your ass. You might need to fight out and shoot down yourself the closer flag, but if there's a flag further away, you might want to try the bunker buster on it. If you're a mortar fleet, you depends on how much hailstorm you have. If you don't have a lot of hailstorm, maybe you need a bunker buster one of the VMs. But if you do have a lot of hailstorm and you think you can take the mortars, maybe you need a bunker buster a bombard rockets, right? Maybe one that's a little further away. You know, you want to basically, it's okay if you fight your way up to like the 3-minute mark, but if you're really still fighting your way really hard past the 3-minute mark, you're going to have some challenges, and you just need to you need to realize that. You know, in all reality, if you're a siege missile fleet and there's a reasonable defend fleet in there and they have 3 flak, find a different base to hit because you got the wrong fleet. You know, if you're a mortar fleet and they have 4 bombards and they're all separated so Splash can't kill one of the other ones, depending on the level of bombard, maybe you ought to pick a different base. You know, some bases are really tailored towards a certain type of fleet, and they're going to do really well against that type of fleet, but they're not going to do so good against a different type of fleet. And the problem is that most lower level people, they're only going to have one kind of fleet, and that's okay. Eventually you're going to have different types of fleets, but initially you're not going to be able to hit every single type of base. Okay, so that's basically picking the targets. I usually would try to pick stuff for a bunker buster that's far away, that it's going to hurt me longer. I don't have a chance for my guns to get to it in any reasonable amount of time. If I'm using a pinch, I'm looking for the cluster of things that I can shut down to help me out. So if I'm using like a large pinch and I'm using mortars, I want to see if I can pinch 2 bombards at the same time. Or if they got a crazy number of VMs, maybe I'll try to pinch, you know, a large grouping of the VMs at one time. It just depends on what it is. It's the most benefit that you think you can get for the radius of the pinch, right? And that's just you figuring it out over time of what it is that for your fleet was going to help you the most. Okay, a couple little tips going into the base, going into the channel. Never charge into Cerberus rockets. Don't do that. That is a death sentence unless you're a blitz fleet. Unless you have 80% resistance to explosive, don't do it. You're gonna die. I have a video months prior where I did just that. Howies, you almost never want to charge those, but Howies only shoot one ship at a time. So worst comes to worst and VMs are raining hell on you and you need to move, charging into a Howie is not going to kill you. It's going to kill one of your ships, but it's not going to kill your entire fleet. You want to avoid both of those as much as you can. You want to shoot those at your maximum range as much as you can. Howie for a siege mortar, most mortars except for Shockwave N, I think. For most mortars, Howie is right at your range, right? If you were a couple pixels closer, it's going to start shooting at you. But right at your range, you still outrange it. Cerberus is a little different. You actually have a little bit of slack. You can start firing on it, and you can move a little bit. If it's based off of a turn, you might be able to, and you're going kind of parallel to the turret, you can probably actually go a little bit further. That one gives you a little bit of slack, and which is actually kind of nice when you're dealing with like lots of VMs firing on you. You might be able to move a little bit. That one you got to play with to actually learn the range on. Which, if you try to play with it, you're gonna die sometimes, and that's okay. So those are basically my tips. You don't want to run into those two guns. Don't stop for sentinel missiles. The base has got a crap ton of them. You do want to kill them because over time they are going to hurt you. You need to know for your anti-mortar how many VMs you can deal with at one time. And you need to, and the other thing that you really got to pay attention to is the defend fleet. If the defend fleet is holding a lot of mortars and they have a lot of victory mortars, you better be really paying attention to where everything is positioned, what's going to be firing simultaneously. You know, if they have 6 victory mortars, but no more than 3 of them are going to fire at one time, then they don't have 6 victory mortars. As far as you're concerned, they only have 3. If you can kill off the first 3 before the next 3 start firing, they only have 3. But if all 6 are going to start firing at the same time, and they have 2 defend fleet that have mortars, well, you know what? You better not bring a ship that needs mortars. You better not bring a ship that has hailstorm. You better just blitz the fleet, blitz the base. That's pretty much going to be your only option if you got, you know, 5-6 victory mortars and a couple of fleets that have mortars, and you can't prep those defend fleets ahead of time. Let's see. What else about hitting a base? That's the bucket load of it, right? It's and figuring out. So let's say, usually for me, like the 3-minute mark is the magic time, right? 3 minutes. I really need to start analyzing. Am I gonna get through these guns? And are my ships gonna make it to a place where I can get to the warehouses and the outpost? Okay. And why I say it exactly like that is, not all bases require you to run to the back of the base. Some bases you really can like get to right where the guns were, and you can get most of the warehouses and the outpost. So you have to pick that point of like, all right, I need to get to point X. Point X is where I need to be to get the bulk of all of the stuff, right? The yummies. And you need to know for your type of your guns. If you have siege mortars, at the very end, you don't need a lot of time. But if you have shockwaves and you have siege missiles and stuff like that, you need a little bit more time at the end to pick up the outposts and the warehouses and that sort of crap. You kind of need to know how long it's going to take you to do that, and then you kind of need to figure out how long it takes you to go to places, right? So if you're stopped at the entrance and you're killing lots of stuff, and you're down to 2 minutes, and you're like, well, you know, shit, it's going to take me a minute and a half to get to my point X, and I still got 30 seconds, but I'm running shockwaves, and there's like this one hidden bombard in the back. I might not make it. I might not have enough time. That's what you got to figure out. And for shockwave, for siege mortars, you know, you can get to the back in 20 seconds, and you can probably pick up all the warehouses. You probably will not pick up the outpost. If you got 30-40 seconds, you're going to clean up everything in the back. So you need to know how fast your ships are. You need to know how quickly you're going to kill stuff off. And usually by the 3 minute, 2.5 minute mark is where I'm really trying to, you know, have that heart to heart with myself of, are we going to make this? Are we not going to make this? I need to kind of figure this thing out. And if I think I might be close, I'll tend to push ahead. But if I'm like, I'm just nowhere close. I am nowhere close. I just might leave, just so I don't have as much repair to do. Oh, sorry. I apologize for that. During my cough, I had actually coughed so much I hit the pause button again to unpause it. So those are kind of my tips for hitting a base. Look, you gotta plan it out. I like coming from the north just to find out, because most people's entrances, a lot of bases, the north is actually very, very safe, because people know that if their buddies are not going to be able to ninja somebody if their entrance is in the north. You really only going to be able to ninja people if your entrances are somewhere down in here. So most people make their entrances down here, so that you're visible when you're hitting the base. So coming in from the north usually means that you're going to come in from the safe direction. Not always, but usually. And then you plan it out. Plan the defend fleet first. Pick off anything that you can in a fleet-to-fleet mode, ignoring the base. Then plan your 25% mark. Where is your 25%? What's going to gain you the most value at 25%? And learn where it is on your marker. And then when you come in for the main attack, don't rush Howies. Don't rush bombards. If you really feel like you have to rush it. You know, leave and come back another day. Leave and come back with a different setup. You know, different prep fleet or something different. You don't have to kill your fleet in a base. You can leave, repair, and then fight another day. You know, if you still have 40% of your fleet left and you're like, there is just no way I'm going to live through this one, leave. You only got to repair 60% instead of 100%. You know, there's really no harm in that, right? They're going to know that you quit on it, and so they're going to be a little bit, yeah, I wish you had died in my base type thing. But those are kind of my tips. If you have any questions about that, you know, let me know. I can clarify different things. That take me back up, pretty much, almost. So I hope that helped somebody. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye bye.